But my wife is like an all-star, man. Through the whole process, she's been like super supportive. She jumps in, she gets her hands dirty, and like honestly, I would not be here where we are without my wife. So like, shout out to you, honey. Love you.
That's good. So let's get started with your first. Take us back. What were you doing before real estate investing?
So before real estate investing, I was actually a software developer. So I did software development for like 20 years. And then just like straight out of college, I was like my first job. Just all I knew, 9 to 5, like, wasn't always 9 to 5, but I mean like just like a 40 hour week, right? Just like and I was happy. It was like flexible. I enjoyed what I did. But about like 4 years ago, someone introduced me the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. And then once I read that book, that book like blew my mind. It's like the idea of just passive income and like getting income while you're not working. Like it never even like occurred to me. It wasn't even like on my radar or horizon. It's like after I read that book, it just kind of like opened my world to like passive like income and like real estate investing and other kinds of investing, and just that's where like the journey started to like, okay, dive into real estate, try to build up my passive income, and eventually like retire myself for like my W-2.
Retire yourself for your W-2. What did that look like?
So that was like, it's been a journey, right? Like 2.5 years of like learning, growing, investing, and I actually didn't start with very much money when I first started. So that was like a little bit of a challenge, but using the burn strategy, a few other kind of like hacks to kind of like supercharge the growth in the very beginning, allowed me to kind of like get enough income where it did eventually replace my W-2 as a software developer in about 3 years. Yeah, I'm living investing.
Tell us about that transition right before you made the switch. What did that look like? You had the passive income coming in that was equal or greater than your W-2 income, but what held you back there?
Yeah, so we were talking about this a little bit about this before, that like one of the things I think is like when you're working in a job, it just feels very safe because you've got like an income like is a very sure source. You've got like a medical, like sort of like all these different things, right? And it feels like when you have a job, this feels very safe. And so like once we got enough passive income to replace what I was making on my job, then like my wife was like still wasn't like super like on board as far as like allowing me to quit. So part of like that last year was just negotiating with my wife and letting her to allow me to quit my job. And so there was some negotiation back and forth, but I think it was like the right decision to make sure you're on the same page with your wife. You know? And so one of the things was when we did pre-marriage counseling, our pastor told us that in your life you're gonna have some times where like you and your wife are not gonna be on the same page. There's gonna be like an amazing opportunity that you're gonna be able to make a lot of money, but if your wife is not on the same page, you can't take the opportunity. And I think those are like super wise words. And so like even though like it might make sense financially, like the relationship and like the trust that you build with your wife to make sure you guys are both on the same page before making any big decisions, I think it's super important to like, okay, you have to pass with the opportunity and make sure you guys are on the same page as far as like making good decisions, you know. And so
yeah, that is kind of a big thing. You gotta make that decision together.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That's cool. We can all relate it.
But my wife is like an all-star, man. Through the whole process, she's been like super supportive. She jumps in, she gets her hands dirty, and like honestly, I would not be here where we are without my wife. So like, shout out to you, honey. Love you.
That's good.